Tales of Mithrym.
Skeleton Crew, read by Lorenzo, Part 10, Perception. Elvin's head was ringing. His throat felt like it was burning and every muscle ached. He rolled uneasily as he tried to stretch, occasionally recoiling from the pain. After a few moments, he dared to open his eyes. He wondered for a moment if he actually had. Perhaps he had gone blind. Then small pinpricks of light came into focus, and he realized he was staring at the sky. Far above him, the stars were twinkling. Rolling his head onto one side, he could see the far horizon, now glowing with the coming dawn. He sat bolt upright with a gasp. In the distance, he could just make out, silhouetted against the coming dawn, the two ships. Blasts of bright light glimmered like the stars and did not bode well for the sailors on board. Feeling around, he realized he was on firm, albeit wet, ground. He was lying on a sandbank. Out to the east was the sea and the battling vessels. To the west, though, he could see lines of palm trees that went in towards the center of this small island. All along the shore there was various flotsam and jetsam, much of it well-aged and likely lost from ships many years before. Slowly he pushed himself to standing. Checking over himself, he still had his clothes, his boots, his belt, just about everything he had when he'd fallen off. Except he had lost his bandaging. The pain in his shoulder was still there. It had melted into the general discomfort though, and he continued anyway. Walking along the beach, he took in his resources. There had to be a way back. He just had to think. There was plenty of wood. There seemed to be a case or two of rum even. Not much in the way of food though. Just lots of splintered wood, smashed glass, and he stopped. What he had at first taken in the dark as a pile of old cloth turned out to be moving. It was human. The pirate captain rolled and groaned from the pain. Elvin froze as he looked at her. Moments later, though it felt like a lifetime, she opened her eyes. She gasped as she looked at him and leapt unsteadily to her feet. Both of them scrambled to find something to wield. Elvin brought up a thin length of driftwood, whilst the captain grabbed at an aging bottle of something dark and syrupy. "You!" she cried and leapt at Elvin. He jumped backwards, avoiding the blow, then bringing his improvised club down on her. She turned on the spot and struck hard at it with the bottle. Glass shattered and they both leapt backwards to avoid it. The captain leapt forward and barreled hard into Elvin's chest, knocking him backwards. He steadied himself, then raised the club again. "You monster!" he shouted. "You devil! You necromancer!" He swung at her as she leapt backwards and hung round for something to fight with. Her searching hands found a fallen tree branch, which she brandished at him. "Me?" she screamed. "You chase us down! You attack my crew! I will not let you kill them! They are mine!" She brought the branch down at him hard. Elvin brought the plank up to meet it. The two held their positions and stared hard into each other's eyes. "Your crew?" Elvin snarled. "Your crew is dead!" They pushed hard and each was pushed backwards. The captain brought the branch round hard again, this time hitting Elvin in the head. He fell to the ground but gripped his club and brought it up to parry the follow-through. "You boarded my ship!" she barked. "You attacked my crew!" "As you attacked mine!" he snarled. "You ambushed us on the island!" "Our island!" She hit down hard with the branch again. Elvin kept to his position, blocking her blows whilst trying to find an opening to stand up again. "You stole our provisions!" Elvin scoffed. "Since when do the dead need to eat?" "They are not dead!" the captain shouted. She turned on the spot and walked away, throwing the branch down onto the ground. "Well, they're not alive!" Elvin shuffled to stand up. He dropped his club too and stood firm as he called to her. She rounded on him. "What? You think they don't count? I would do anything for my crew. I made a promise to keep them safe, and that's what I'm doing." "By casting dark magic?" Elvin scoffed again. "I'm not a magician. I'm no wizard's pupil, nor am I a priest." She pointed at him. "I swore to Imu, sure enough, because Imu was the only crafter that would listen. I saved my crew." "Save them? Is that what you call it?" "What are you? You're not a captain, are you, lad?" She looked him up and down. "A soldier boy on leave. You don't know what it is to swear you'll keep him safe, to fight tooth and nail but still lose. You don't know what loss is." Elvin felt a chill run through him. "You don't know what happened. You weren't there," she continued. "Tell me, soldier boy, is there no one you would bring back if you could? If all you had to do was ask." Elvin's mind raced. Images of his platoon at Select Valley. Their faces, cold and dead. He would have done anything to save them. He did do everything. It still was not enough. Grief gripped him as he thought too of his parents, ill and in pain, until death was all that could bring them peace. For that moment, he felt so very much alone. But he was not alone, was he? The faces of Ducky and Derville came to him. The harsh reality of the moment rolled over him. They were still fighting for their lives, fighting in a battle that he had to get back to. His eyes lit up again. "Listen," he said, his voice changing from anger to concern. "You say you care about your crew, yes? Well, I care about my friends. You do not want us fighting and killing yours? Fine by me. Truce." He held out his hand. "Help me get back and we can end this. You can take your crew and go. Just leave my friends." The captain seemed to consider this. She was still brimming with anger and fury, but something in his words cut through. The cold air whipped around them both as she held back her rage, then, with a sigh, untensed and took his hand. "Truce," she said gruffly. It was as if a heavy air had lifted. They looked at each other and then at the beach around them. "How are we going to—" Elvin began. "Grab that wood from over there, and there's some rope over here," the captain barked. Elvin saluted. "Aye, sir." In a matter of minutes they were tying fast the planks into a makeshift raft. As soon as it was ready, the captain began pushing it into the water. "But how are we going to paddle against the current?" Elvin asked. "Don't you worry about that, soldier boy." She leant down by the rear of the raft and placed one hand under the waterline. "Just hold on tight." Elvin felt the whole thing jerk and only just kept his balance as the raft suddenly surged forward. Squinting, he could make out a ring on the captain's finger, glowing a bright blue as a jet of water shot out behind them. Despite himself, he could not help but feel the whole thing quite invigorating. They sped towards the ships as the light of dawn grew brighter. Suddenly, a cold realization hit Elvin like wash from the sea. "Captain?" he began. "Yes." "I will hold to the truce, sure enough. But I must say," he paused for a moment, "I have fought dark magicians, and I have seen things like this before. Imu has not walked on the earth of Mithrym for long enough now." "What's your point, soldier boy?" She was starting to get annoyed with Elvin again. "Well," he continued, "you may not be a necromancer, but someone on your crew is."
Tales of Mithrym are written by Jimmy Clephane. Mithrym is a fantasy world built for the Dungeon Room role-playing game system. To find out more about the world of Mithrym, or to try out the game, go to www.mithrym.com.